What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Glad I got y'all tuned into the channel. I appreciate all the support. But we got to have a discussion, family. And we got to have a discussion about a fighter that I really enjoy watching. I enjoy watching his fights. I feel like, you know, he's a relentless type of dude. Got great punching power. But, like, this dude is really starting to become very questionable with a lot of the things that he does and says. And I can't hold my tongue any longer. Jermell Charlo is a very interesting individual because, as I said before, he does a lot of very questionable things. He says a lot of questionable things, right? So after Deontay Wilder's defeat at the hands of Tyson Fury, Jermell Charlo took to Twitter and he came out and he tweeted, "No excuse. Skills pay the bills. Hashtag boxing," right? Then he followed that tweet up by saying, "It was a whole community writing me because I made a comment about the skills of a fighter. Where they broke ass at now? Go cry in a car," right? And see, Jermell Charlo, he stay going against the grain. He always going against the grain. And it's starting to get really suspect for real, right? Now, for those who don't know, when Deontay Wilder was making his press runs when the trilogy fight was first announced, and he did an interview with PBC, and he was talking about basically white privilege existing in the world, existing in boxing, and so on and so forth. Jermell Charlo chose to come on that PBC platform, public platform for everyone to see, to tell Deontay Wilder, somebody who he claimed he fucked with before. You know, I mean, I saw that he fucked with him because he was always speaking good about Deontay. He comes under that live chat and says, "Skills pay the bills. Ain't no race, ain't nothing racist or whatever. Ain't no race. Race ain't a What did he say? Basically, race don't matter." He said race don't matter, and skills pay the bills and all that. He beat you because of skills and all this and all of that. He beat you because of skills. He's under the PBC live chat saying this, and he's saying this. And the thing is this. Okay, you can say that, that's perfectly fine. But I feel like Jermell Charlo has an ulterior motive when he does shit like that. I feel like he's trying to get the attention. He's trying to gain the affections. He's trying to gain the respects of a certain fan base, or certain fan bases, I should say. He's trying to gain the respect of certain demographics, certain crowds. He wants them to like him so much that he's trying to come on a public platform and shame Deontay Wilder and he's trying to make it noticeable. Look, I'm not one of those race guys. I'm one of the boxers you should get behind, everybody. I'm not one of those guys that believe race is a factor. Hey, race should just not be talked about. Look at me, I'm one of those guys. In hopes of getting pats on the back from them so that they can now like him, so that they can now embrace him. And that's what it seems like to me. Jermell Charlo wants to be embraced by certain crowds and certain people, right? And as a fighter, it's always good. Everybody wants to be liked by everyone, to gain a certain popularity. However, it seems to me that Jermell Charlo is going about it in a very disingenuous way, right? It's like he's saying certain things on certain public platforms. So, like, he's saying certain things that he feels would get those other fan bases that really don't fuck with him. He's trying to say things that they would like so they can champion him, right? Even throwing his own brother under the bus. His own twin brother, his flesh and blood. He threw his own brother under the bus because they were mad at each other. He came out publicly saying, I ain't that Charlo. I'm Jermell Charlo. I'm the different Charlo, right? Saying my brother scared of Canelo. My brother ducking Canelo. Whatever. I ain't my brother. My brother ducking Canelo, right? Going out of his way. Okay, you can give Canelo props, but you're trying to shit on your brother in public for everybody to hear it. My brother ducking Canelo. I ain't my brother. I'm the other Charlo. I'm the other Charlo. I ain't my brother, right? I'm going to tell y'all right now, that's some whole shit at its finest, right? Throwing your own brother under the bus to get kudos from Canelo fans because you want them to ingratiate you so bad is lame as fuck. Your own flesh and blood. I'm going to tell y'all right now, my father is 65 years old. If I ever publicly shame my brother in any type of facet, my father would smack the shit out of me and tell me, "Boy, what the fuck is wrong with you?" Don't you ever disrespect your brother, try to clown your brother or humiliate your brother or talk down on your brother in public platforms to get some damn kudos from another crowd of people. Fuck out of here, right? That's when I knew Jermell Charlo be on some funny shit, right? You throwing your brother under the bus to get kudos from from Canelo Alvarez fans that didn't fuck with you in the first place? They didn't fuck with Jermell. They didn't start fucking with Jermell, and they only started doing that to shit on his own brother, right? In order to lower his brother's profile, they started placing him on a pedestal to shit on his brother. And he's so crazy, he's so dumb, like he's so goofy or whatever. I'm not gonna say dumb. He's so goofy, he didn't even notice that, or maybe he did notice that and he just didn't give a fuck, right? Because he just want to be accepted so bad, it's at anybody's expense, even his own brother. And I ain't even talking about another black man in that instance. I'm talking about his own flesh and blood, right? So if he can do that to his own brother, I don't know why I'm shocked that he did it to Deontay Wilder, right? Because I feel like that was unnecessary for him. Because if you really rock with Deontay Wilder, you could tell him personally. If you fool with him, if you fuck with him like that, you can tell him personally, hey, bro, I really don't think it was no, foul play or nothing like that. I really don't think it was no race type stuff involved. I just really think, you know what, we got to work on this and that. Maybe, you should work on this and that. Maybe, I think you could do this in a fight. I think you can do that to get better. You can tell him that personally, right? But Jermell wanted to be seen. He wanted an audience while he was trying to shit on Deontay Wilder or talk down on Deontay Wilder or challenge him. He wanted an audience while he was trying to challenge Deontay Wilder. I ain't going to say shit on him at that moment, but he was trying to challenge Deontay Wilder with an audience so that he can gain applause or kudos from certain crowds of people. And that shit weak to me, man. Like, Jermell do a lot of corn. He got a lot of cornball in him, right? I'm going to be real. Even going about it when he trying to rep, I remember he was trying to rep a gang. Talking about he a blood and all this and all that when he was fighting Tony Harrison. Trying to rep a gang, right? Like, Jermell a fucking lame for that. That was lame as hell. Like, I hate when brothers try to come out here and rep a gang. I'm a blood. And brother, you're a multi-millionaire professional athlete. All that gang tie shit, that shit needs to get out the window. All that, because that can't help you in that fight either. So, you know what I'm saying? So, you talking about Deontay Wilder, all the race ain't going to help you in a fight. That gang shit ain't going to help you in no fight either. You know what I'm saying? He trying to rep a gang and all that. I just think it's very silly to perpetuate a negative stereotype of black men associating yourself or attaching yourself to a gang on a public platform. That shit is shameful to me. I don't like, and to me, for real, that gang banging shit don't impress me. Like, a lot of dudes be impressed by that shit. That shit don't impress me at all. I'm from a gang banging. I'm Chicago, Illinois, outside of LA with Crips and Bloods. Every other major gang for real started in Chicago, Illinois. It's the gang banging capital of the world. It was gang bangers on every block that I lived on. I was not impressed by none of them motherfuckers. I just wasn't. Because that shit don't impress me. So all of that, but it was just really, like him just pounding his chest talking about he a blood. That shit was fucking lame as hell to me, right? So it just shows certain things in Jermell, and I'm like, huh? Right? Now, Jermell ain't sent out a tweet since August. And now he waited 2 months. 2 months. He waited to after this fight. 2 months. 2 months it's been 2 months since August. He waited 2 months to shit on Deontay Wilder. He ain't tweeted since August. But he waited 2 months to shit on Deontay Wilder and the Deontay Wilder supporters. Why? Because they checked Jermell, because they realized the same thing that I realized. Jermell is out here trying to gain supporters, trying to gain traction from certain crowds that don't fuck with him in the first place, right? And that's why I really think it's just really clowned out, man. To see that, I'm like, bro, he out here trying to, like, this boy, the support he's getting right now, all the kudos from certain crowds he's getting, that shouldn't be the support he's chasing, because those same individuals didn't fuck with him at all in the first place. They didn't fuck with him until they started to shit on his twin brother, right? So that he shouldn't even be trying to chase that support. You know what I mean? But brothers always going against the grain because they feel like when they say certain stuff that look like, oh, you know, when they challenge certain black boxers or certain black fighters or whatever, especially the guys that they don't like Deontay Wilder, or they didn't even like his ass, but he challenged his own brother, he gonna get pats on the back for that and kudos. And he want those little pats on the head. And that shit lame as hell to me. You know what I mean? You know, but I just noticed certain things that I'm seeing, right? My boy lives in Hawaii, right? My best friend, Melvin. Melvin went to school with Jermell Charlo's wife, right? I mean, not Melvin, excuse me. Melvin's girlfriend, my roommate from college. He from Chicago, but his woman is from Hawaii. My boy Melvin's lady his lady went to school with Jermell Charlo's wife. She's Hawaiian, right? And since Jermell Charlo's been married to her, he's gained a big following out there in Hawaii and Hawaii and all that. They're crowded watching his fights now in support of her. So now he's trying to expand his fan base, and in order to do that, he's trying to talk that race don't matter talk. You know what I mean? And listen, as a man, right? And as a black man for real, I know that everything is not racist. But I'm never gonna sit here and try to downplay racism or trying to act like there isn't racism in certain things or whatever. But Jermell Charlo strikes me, as a man who would do that in order to gain kudos, right? Now, it wasn't racism in the fight with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury or whatever, but I just feel like he's trying to publicly challenge certain people or certain black fighters like Deontay Wilder, or even shit on his own brother. Shitting on his own brother, shit lame as hell. To get respect and gain a big popularity from those other fan bases. Because to get popularity or get accepted by other fan bases, they want you to be fair. Be fair all across the board. Even though they not even fair all across their own fucking board. Let's be quite frank and for real. A lot of them other fan bases, they don't be fucking with a lot of other fighters for real. They fuck with they peoples. You know what I'm saying? They fuck with who they fuck with or whatever, and they keep it in that level. They keep it in that ilk. And they ain't gonna try to shit on you because they say, oh, y'all only fuck with the black fighters, which is not true. I love fighters in general. I gave all props to Tyson Fury. I love a lot of different fighters because these dudes are warriors and they can get in the ring and do something that I cannot do. But my problem is those other fan bases that shit on other fighters, shit on, oh, y'all support the black fighters. They be supporting they people all the fucking time and won't pick against them or go against the grain, but will talk about your black ass they talk about your black ass because you pick the black fighter to win or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They try to clown you out, and then your black ass try to go and try to shit on the black fighters to get accepted by them. You know what I'm saying? And they not even doing the same shit that they hating you for. They not doing that. They ain't being fair and balanced on that side. You know what I'm saying? Right? And I ain't talking about every boxing fan is not getting to that. But I'm just trying to point out certain things that I see. Certain groups of fight fans want other groups of fight fans to be fair and balanced, but they not gonna be fair and balanced they own damn selves. You know what I'm saying? But Jermell Charlo wants to be accepted so much. It just reminds me of a young immature kid who wants to be accepted and coddled so much by certain fan bases or whatever that he allowing people to shit on his own brother at his like what? If that ain't the lamest shit in the world, my daddy would have checked the fuck out of me. And he's 65 years old. He slapped the shit out of me and say, Malcolm, what the fuck are you doing? Did I raise you to go against your brother? I'm riding with my motherfucking brother no matter what. I'm sorry for my language, but it's just clowned out. I'm riding with my brother till the wheels fall off. I don't give a damn who like it, who don't like it, or nothing. Period. But I'm just, I've just noticed a pattern with Jermell. You know what I'm saying? I've noticed a pattern with him. He's starting to say certain things, you know what I'm saying, in order to get those pats on the back and get that acceptance, right? And let me just say this too. He talking about skills pay the bills, right? And I believe in that statement. Yes, skills pay the bills. The better man with the better skills won last night in Tyson Fury. And I'll give all credit to that, right? But he's saying skills pay the bills. That's true. That's also the reason why Jermell Charlo's fights have been a little shaky for a while, right? And this is coming from a fan of Jermell Charlo, right? Skills pay the bills, which is the reason why his last fight was a draw. And I believe he got the draw. I believe he secured the draw for real. But other people thought Brian Castaño won that fight. I believe it was a draw though, right? But the reason why it was a draw is because Jermell Charlo's skills himself have been lacking for the last couple of fights. For the last few fights, his skills have been lacking. If Tony Harrison had a chin, I know if it was a fifth, we all be drunk. But I'm just saying in hindsight, even in the fights against Tony Harrison, he was getting outboxed cleanly. If Tony had a chin, Tony Harrison would have beat Jermell Charlo again. Because he was fucking Jermell Charlo up with some shit. It's just Jermell Charlo got that crack. You know what I'm saying? He got dog in him, he got that crack, and he was able to close the show. Right? So, even against Jason Rosario, or Jason Rosario, it was times Rosario was looking really, really good. It's just he was able to punish, he was able to hit him with some shots and body shots that Rosario could not take. But he was getting outboxed in that as well. You know what I mean? And then even with Brian Castaño. Jermell Charlo's skills been looking a little iffy and shaky himself. So skills pay the bills. Is that the reason why you got that draw? Let's be honest, brother. Let's be real. If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. For real. You know what I'm saying? So for him to say that, no excuse, skills pay the bills, no excuse, and all that, yeah, okay, cool. You right, no excuse, no excuses should be made from Deontay Wilder. But it wasn't even like, you know, he didn't even tweet to give congrats to Tyson Fury. He or nothing. He came out to really shit on Deontay Wilder and Deontay Wilder supporters, right? Didn't say nothing about congrats to Tyson Fury. Didn't say nothing about, you know, Deontay Wilder fought brave and nothing like that. His point was just to talk about, oh, no excuse, skills pay the bills, right? Where they broke your ass at now. It was a whole community. Go cry in the car and all that shit, right? All that shit like that. Now go cry in the car. Okay, Jermell. But Jermell, you was crying after you lost to Tony Harrison that first time, right? But I'm going to give you your respect because you came and you fought him again and you got the win, right? Cool. That's respectful. That's something to respect. You came back and you avenged your loss, for real. Now, since we having that discussion about avenging losses or avenging certain things where you may have come up short or not giving the performance you want to give, you still ain't came out and said you want to give Brian Castaño a rematch. You still ain't did that. You still ain't done that. You know what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder, so you saying no excuse, skills pay the bills and all that. I'm going to give Deontay Wilder credit. He went in there against a dude, now whether, you know, subconsciously he may have not, maybe he thought he was a better fighter than Tyson Fury, but in the heart of hearts, he knows Tyson Fury had some shit that he just couldn't stop or wasn't really, or some stuff that he knew he ain't got in his arsenal. He knew Tyson Fury had some stuff and some shit on him. So for Deontay Wilder to fight a dude who stopped him in the previous fight, that shows a lot of heart. To go in there and fight a dude that stopped you viciously the first time, whether you thought it was cheating or whatever and all of that, but to still get back in the ring with that brother and give it another go, that take a lot of heart. So you all that skills pay the bills and no excuse and all that to throw shade and slide at Deontay Wilder? Yeah. What that brother did, stepped up to the plate and fought that dude again and stopped him, right? Are you gonna get back in there with Brian Castaño? Are you gonna publicly say you want that rematch? Because you ain't said that yet. You know what I'm saying? You ain't said that yet. And I'm going to be real with y'all, for real. Deontay Wilder has made excuses and said all that stuff like that before. He's made, you know, he's did some things that people have not liked. Right? But I'm going to tell you one thing. If you ask Deontay Wilder if he want to fight Tyson Fury again, I bet you he'll say yeah. Even though he got battered around, he still say yeah. And you can say, oh, this is insanity or whatever. But I guarantee y'all, if Deontay Wilder was to run from a fight from Tyson Fury, y'all would call him a fucking coward. I know y'all would, all the Deontay Wilder haters. So when he accepted that third fight, after the second fight, people were talking about, oh, this stupidity. Why would you accept it again? Y'all would have called him a fucking coward if he would have ducked that fight, right? So Deontay Wilder deserves a lot of respect. Because if you would have asked Deontay Wilder after that fight, right? You know what I'm saying? If you, and to his own fault, he didn't stay around in neither of these two defeats. But if you would have asked him right there, I guarantee you Deontay Wilder would say, yeah, I'll fight him again. I guarantee you he would. And Jermell still ain't talking about he want to fight Brian Castaño. So you got some Castaño, you got to figure that out yourself. Because I'm sure Derrick James was looking, because Derrick James was frustrated with you. Because your skills was lacking in that last fight. He looking like, get off the ropes. What you doing? Derrick James was telling you, you need to get a stoppage because he knew what was going on and your skills is looking iffy. You wasn't following the game plan correctly because your skills is off. So I'm hoping you focuses on your skills too while you saying skills can pay the bills. I'm hoping you sharpening up your skills because your toolbox looked sharper back in the day, to be honest. You started to rely on your power later on. You know what I'm saying? Like you probably trying to say Deontay Wilder does now, just rely on power. You've been doing that your last couple of fights. Even though I fuck with your fighting ability and I like watching you fight, it's an observation that I've noticed, right? But I'm just tired of dudes. Jermell Charlo go against the grain all the damn time. All the damn time. And I feel like he want to shit on certain black boxers now because he know that's the popular thing to do to get in with certain crowds and ingratiate yourself with certain fan bases. And he going about it the wrong way. To gain a lot of popularity as a fighter, you go out there and go for the gusto, right? Now, what Deontay Wilder did last night, I don't care. All that, you know, and People saying, oh, he lost his fan, he lost the fans that he gained last night when he didn't show sportsmanship and all that. Yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Like, I don't get into all that shaking the motherfucking hand and all that. Okay, Deontay Wilder can say, hey, he was the better man, but all that shaking hands and exchanging pleasantries, as long as Deontay Wilder don't come up with no excuses, I don't care. Like, all that, I'm not into that shit. All that, he lost him when he didn't give him credit and all that. That's for motherfuckers that really Tyson Fury fans. Y'all wanted him to see him shake his hand and all that, whatever, right? But what Deontay Wilder did last night in that fight, he gained a whole bunch of fans. That's how you gain fans. That's the genuine way to gain fans. Go out and give it your all. Fight with the heart of 10 lions. Go for the gusto, you know what I'm saying? And go and show resiliency. Through the storm, show resiliency. Show mental fortitude. Show this shit right there. Show that. That's how you get your fan base built up. All that throwing black fighters under the bus, throwing black fighters, including your own brother, under the bus, that shit corny and play it out. And somebody needs to check his ass. Somebody around him needs to check him. Because I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Him and Errol Spence not cut the same way at all. I can tell the difference. Errol Spence, yeah, he might have been in trouble with drinking or whatever in the past. He hang around Yellow Beezy and all that. But I can tell you, that brother has great knowledge of self. He's a conscious brother, right? That's why all them other people, them other fan bases, that Jermell Charlo trying to gain the acclaim or to gain the praises of, they don't fuck with Errol because they recognize he has knowledge of self, right? He has knowledge of himself as a black man. He has a knowledge of his identity in the world. And he don't go against the grain. And he even spoke about that when he fought Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? I can tell the difference. Errol cut way different than you. Errol wouldn't have threw his own brother under the bus, his own flesh and blood under the bus for approval from certain fan bases. He would have been like, nah, fuck that. I ain't going against my brother. I ain't going to, and Jermell and Errol ain't going to throw Deontay Wilder under the bus at all. He ain't doing that shit. He just not. You know what I'm saying? But Jermell, you would do it. And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? You hang around Errol. I hope Errol, and a lot of the stuff that Errol's father has, I can tell Errol's father and his parents have raised him a certain way, a great way, with knowledge of self. Yeah, the drunk driving incident or whatever, yeah, that wasn't cool or whatever, but shit, things happen. But I'm talking about the mental makeup of him, what he stands for. I can tell his parents raised him a certain type of way, and I hope that rubs off on Jermell Charlo, because Jermell got a lot of growing up to do. A lot of growing up to do, man. He got a lot of cornball. Like Tony Harrison called it straight. He got a lot of cornball in him, for real, for real. He's a great fighter, but he got a lot of cornball. Like, he do a lot of hoe shit to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to call it hoe shit, you know what I'm saying, because I just don't like it. And I know all them other people going to come in the comment section. Why can't he have a different opinion? Black people are not monolithic. Why do they have to think alike? And listen, I know we are not monolithic. I'm a black man. I am for certain we are not monolithic. A lot of black people don't come from the same background. We don't come from the same walks of life. We don't like the same music. We don't have the same interests in a lot of different things. I understand that. But there are certain things we got to be on code with and be genuine about who you are. And it's just like, in this instance, he's trying to be, he's being off code to gain fans, which is some sucker shit. And he know what he's doing. Being off code to gain fans is weak as hell. You know what I'm saying? And I know that all y'all, why does he have to think, why he have to think like everybody else black? Why can't he be, black people are this and that? Listen, I'm going to tell y'all right now, if you feel like that and you feel like I'm tripping and just because he's black, listen, this is black people business. I'm going to tell you right now, just like that, this is black folk business. When I'm addressing Jermell Charlo. Black folks know what I'm talking about. Even the folks in Texas know what I'm talking about. Jermell got to get off that sucker shit, man. He do. He got a lot of sucker shit up in him. Great fighter. He got a lot of lame shit. Even that proud gang banging shit, that shit corny as fuck. Again, I'm from the gang banging capital in the world. These gang banging dudes do not impress me one bit. I was around them all my life. Went to school with them from elementary school to high school. That shit didn't impress me. It still don't to this day. Like Deontay Wilder said, that shit don't impress me at all. Jermell Charlo got a lot of growing up to do. For real. He stayed going against the grain to gain supporters who didn't fuck with him in the first place. And if he lose tomorrow, matter of fact, he saw in the draw. When he got that draw, he saw it. He should have saw it. They wasn't fucking with him then. Man. He better cut that bullshit out. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.